What's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. In today's video, we are going to be creating two looks with the new Nomad Cosmetics Chamonix Après-Ski eyeshadow palette. I hope I pronounced that correctly. One of my sweet friends, Steph, actually posted a reel over on Instagram kind of walking you through how to pronounce some of the names in this palette. I have watched that video so many times and I still feel like I'm going to butcher this beautiful language moving forward, so I apologize ahead of time, but regardless, I am really excited to play with this palette. I love Nomad Cosmetics. They're one of my absolute favorite indie brands. I am not affiliated with them at all in any way, shape, or form. I did not get this in PR. I did pay for it myself because I do love the brand, and this color story is so incredibly beautiful. Y'all, it is pastels, but you've got some depth in here. I really love the mix of warm tones and cool tones in here. You've got these beautiful berry shades, some purples, some greens, some pops of blues in here. I think this is such a fun color story and I'm excited to play with it. This palette is one of their 18 pan color stories. It does retail for $49, and as of now it is currently available on the Nomad Cosmetics website, so I will have it linked and listed down below in the description box, as well as everything else that I use in today's video to complete my look. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos here on my channel, always check the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But without further ado, let's go ahead and zoom in, prime my eyes, and get into creating our two looks. Alright y'all, so let's go ahead and dive in and start creating our looks with this beautiful palette. I have already primed my eyes with my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly, and for my first look, I think I want to do something kind of monochromatic with these berry shades over here, and then for our second look, maybe we'll dive in to this portion of the palette, do something a little bit more fun and colorful. So with that being said, I'm going to get started with this shade right here, and I believe that one is pronounced off-piste. I could be wrong. I apologize. Like I said, I'm trying my hardest to not butcher this beautiful language, but I don't speak French. I would actually love to learn it, but I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a BK Beauty 202 brush, and I'm going to start by kind of fluffing this shade into my crease, just building up a little bit of depth. I'm not going to keep it super precise. I'm going to bring it up onto my brow bone just a little bit and sort of fluff it out. Now, since I do have a very cool undertone, these are going to come off just a little bit more on like that purpley side, whereas if you have more of like a warm or neutral undertone, they might come off a little bit more true to color than compared to what they are in the pan. So something to keep in mind whenever you're playing with shades is that your undertone of your skin definitely plays a key role in how these are going to look on your skin. Alright, so next I'm going to go into this beautiful berry shade up here and start to deepen up my outer corner a little bit. And that one is called Haute Savoie. And I'm going to pick that up with a Singe Beauty EOS 6 brush. And like I said, I'm just going to start building up a little bit of depth out here. So I'm going to start by just kind of pressing the shade right here on my lid. I don't want to like really pack it on and get the full impact of the shade because I want to do something kind of light and pastel-y and wintry over here. I'm definitely feeling the whole winter vibe. It is so cold here in Houston today. It is actually 37 degrees, which I know that doesn't sound super cold, but when you have cold mixed with humidity, that wind chill will cut you to the bone. I have been in cold weather in Colorado where it's like 30 or like 17 degrees outside, and it does not feel nearly as cold as 37 degrees does here. So I love the cold weather, but man oh man is it cold, and it is supposed to snow here tomorrow, so I am all in the winter mood, and this is going on absolutely beautifully. It would probably pack a little bit more punch if I had put this on first and then blended it out with the lighter shade that I went down with first, but I am not disappointed with how this is performing so far. It is going on really nicely, no patching, skipping, fallout, anything like that. I'm going to take that shade down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well, just kind of lining it up with what I have going on up on my lid. And then I'm going to go back with that first shade and put it along the rest of my lower lash line. Same brush, same shade. I'm just going to fluff it down there and kind of blend this out over here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up my same brush, that same shade, and just go right along my lower lash line. So I think what I want to do next is deepen up my outer corner just the slightest little bit. So I'm actually going to go in with this really deep purple shade up over here, which is called Valley Blanche. And I'm going to pick that up with a Sigma E33 brush and just very, very lightly kind of tap it right here on my very outer corner, just like that, and then just kind of blend it inwards so it has like a nice kind of diffused look. And I'm also going to bring it down onto the very outer portion as well, just kind of wrapping it around right here on my very outer corner, just giving a tiny bit of depth. I still want to keep this light and airy and very soft, but I like to have this little bit of depth out here. I just feel like it's very flattering on my eyes. It gives me a little bit of lift and kind of opens them up. Alright, y'all, so my lids are primed with my NYX glitter primer, and we are ready to put some shimmer all over this lid. So I think what I want to do is put this one all over my lid and then just pop this one into the inner corner. So we're going to go ahead and start there. So the first shade that I'm going to use is called Last Run. It's that mid-tone shimmer berry shade, and this is what it looks like. It definitely has more of a sheer base to it, but very smooth, nice and reflective. It doesn't feel chunky or dry or anything like that. So I am going to go ahead and pick that up with my BK Beauty 203 brush, which is around here somewhere. Give me just 1 second to find it. I cleaned all of my brushes and I don't know where it is. I've lost track of it. All right, I found it. So this is my brush. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up a little bit of that shade on my brush. I am going to spray it with my MAC Fix Plus per usual. This just makes sure that I don't get any extra fallout when I'm picking it up with a brush. And then the glitter glue is to make sure that it adheres to my lid and gives it a little extra punch when I apply it. So I'm going to go ahead and start by pressing this all over my lid, just making sure that I'm really packing this shade on. And if I need to, I can dip back into my pan after my brush is kind of dried off a little bit, spray it again, and just repeat the process until I have the look that I want. And then I'll go back and start to blend out the edges and kind of soften it a little bit. So I'm going to pick up just a little bit more and just press it kind of down towards my lower lash line or my lash line on my lid, bring it over to my inner corner, press it into my crease just a little bit, and now I'm going to go back and start to blend. All right, so moving on to the inner corner, we're gonna go in with this beautiful iridescent sparkle shade up here, which is called Les Alpes or Les Alpes. I can't remember exactly how it was pronounced, but I'm just gonna give y'all a little swatch of this one really quick. This one definitely has a little bit more of like a flakiness to it. It doesn't feel super textured or anything like that. It's just a little bit piecier whenever I pick it up, but it did smooth out really nicely. So I'm gonna pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO1 brush, spray it once again, and I'm just going to pop this right into my inner corner and kind of blend it up onto my lid and down onto my lower lash line, just so we don't have a little blob of lightness and brightness right here in the inner corner. But look at how beautiful that is. This is such a soft and beautiful look. I'm not always the biggest fan of these, but I really am loving the way this look is turning out. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And that is going to complete our first look with this palette, and I think this turned out absolutely beautiful. It is definitely more of a pastel look, but it has that depth in the outer corner that I absolutely love. I think the purples performed beautifully, and the shimmers are nice and smooth and reflective and very flattering on my lid. They may not be shifty and overly sparkly, but still absolutely beautiful. But let me show you what I used to finish up this look so we can create our second look with this palette. So to line my lid and my lower waterline, I went in with this eyeliner from Revolution. It is the Streamline eyeliner in the shade Purple. I believe these are new. I found them when I was scrolling through the Ulta website and decided to pick one up because it was a little bit more of a pastel-y leaning purple. I'm going to show you a little bit of a swatch on the back of my hand. I have lots of dark purples and I wanted something a little bit lighter, and it went on really nicely. I think it performed nice. It didn't pull, it didn't tug. It's not overly creamy, but it's just enough that it glides on the lid. But I'll keep playing with it and let y'all know in the future. And then to finish everything off, I went in with my Il Makiage Black Card mascara that I've been testing out as well. But let's pop back into this palette and create our second look. So I think what I'm gonna do is I want to do something with like this over here, but then maybe a little pop of green. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with, I think maybe this shade right here, and kind of put it on my outer corner and start to build from maybe dark to light and see how these shades perform, if they give a little bit of more of a punch on the eye and things like that. So that shade is called, oh, I can't remember how that one was pronounced. I will try to remember to pop it up on the screen because that was one of the ones I had a hard time with. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick that one up with we're gonna go in with this right here. This is a BK Beauty 206 brush, and I'm gonna start to kind of pack this on my outer corner, just building up the shape that I want and a little bit of depth. And yeah, that is definitely giving me lots of nice pigmentation right out the bat. I'm not getting any fallout, I'm not getting any patching, and this is blending out really nicely as well. And I don't know if I want to bring this down onto my lower lash line, so for now I'm just going to kind of concentrate it right out here on my outer corner and just worry about kind of blending and diffusing that shade before we go in with one of the pastels. All right, so next I'm gonna go back into this shade up here, which is called Valley Blanche, and I'm gonna deepen up my outer corner just a little bit. So I'm gonna do that with a Morphe M506 brush. I'm just gonna pick up a tiny little bit of it like I did in the first look, and I probably could have gone in with the same brush that I used, but here we are, it is what it is. I wasn't really thinking, but I'm just gonna kind of press it right here in the very outer corner and then start to blend it inwards and just disperse it and soften it and make sure that we have a nice gradient going on. Again, I'm gonna keep this just on the lid because I haven't decided exactly what I wanna do with my lower lash line quite yet. I'm just kind of going with the flow right now. I don't really have much of an idea of what I wanna do in my mind at all at this point. All right, so a decision has been made as to what I want to do. So I'm going to take that shade down onto the very outer portion of my lower lash line, just giving me a little bit of depth. And then I'm going to go back with that first shade that I used, which is called, I don't remember, I'll pop it up on the screen yet again. And I'm just going to kind of blend that along the rest of my lower lash line, but not going all the way into my inner corner because I do want to leave that open. But I just want to kind of blend it out and soften it just a little bit, just like that. And then we're gonna go in with this lighter shade at the bottom, this very pastel blue leading shade, which is called Last Call. And I'm gonna soften up my edges just a smidgen. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with, let's do this brush right here from Singe Beauty. It's an EO5. It's a very tiny, precise pencil brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip into that shade, and I'm gonna go right along the edge of that first shade that I put down and just kind of soften everything, blend it out a little bit more. I'm also gonna bring it down onto my lower lash line right below everything else that I just did. And like I said, just kind of soften everything out. Bring this over into my crease right here and just keep blending, but I'm going to stop like right here. So I'm going to leave this little inner portion of my lid open for some of those green shades. So I'm just picking up a little bit more, and I'm just going to keep blending with very soft circular motions. Like I am barely touching my lid with this brush, and I am not pressing very hard at all, just very light pressure. All right, so what I want to do next is go into this really pretty pastel green shade down here, which is called Fondue. And I'm going to pick that up with a Sigma E45 brush, and I'm going to put that on my inner corner. Now you can 100% skip this and just bring those shades over a little bit more and keep this very monochromatic, but I want to do a little bit more color. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Sigma E45. I don't know if I said that already. And I'm going to start by kind of pressing this right here in my very inner corner, just kind of pressing and doing circular motions, and then I'm going to blend it up onto my lid towards the light blue shade that I put down, and I'm also going to bring it down onto my lower lash line as well, just kind of wrapping it around and giving me this soft little pastel pop. That is really pretty. I am impressed with the pigmentation of the pastels in this palette. They're not chalky, they don't have a lot of fallout, they're not really fussy or anything like that. They're just pigmented and very easy to work with so far. All right, so once again, my lid is primed and ready to go with my NYX glitter primer, and we're gonna pop into these shades right here for all over the lid, and I'm trying to decide which one I wanna do. So we're gonna do a little bit of swatches. So the first one we're gonna do is this one right here, which is called Mountain Chalet, I think is how you say that. And I'm going to pick that one up, and we're going to do a little swatch right here on my hand. That one is so beautiful. It has a really nice translucent base to it, so not nearly as deep as what I think the other one is going to be. And the other one is the bottom one, and this one is called Shot Ski. And that one is definitely a lot deeper, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do this one all over the, well, Maybe not. Let's do something fun. Let's do this one all over the lid, and then maybe we can kind of top this one over top, and then we'll figure out what we want to do with the inner corner, because I think I want to go in with one of the green shimmers. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up that first shade, which is called Xoxo, with a Sigma E54 brush. Again, I am going to spray it, and I'm going to press this all over my lid, but kind of stopping where that green shade is. So I'm just going to press and kind of blend it over in this outer corner a little bit, bring it up towards the crease, make sure I get my lash line, and just keep pressing it all over just like I did on the first lid. All right, so next what I want to do is go in with this shade right here, which is called Mountain Chalet, and I'm going to pick that up with my finger this time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of press this right over top that Après-Ski shade, or no, Xoxo shade that I put down, and then I'm going to kind of bring it over towards my outer corner just so we get a little bit of a softer blend and it's not so harsh going from a lighter outer corner to a deeper all over lid. I don't normally do deeper shimmer shades on my lid, but I just thought this one was really pretty. So I'm just going to kind of top it with that other shade, but stopping in my inner corner, and then we're going to do something fun in there. All right, so for the inner corner, I'm trying to decide between these two shades right here. So we're gonna swatch them out yet again. And the first one that we're gonna swatch out is this iridescent shimmer shade up here. And that one is called Chamonix. And let's see what this one looks like. I can't decide which one is going to be a better choice for my inner corner. So there is the first one. Oh my gosh, that is so incredibly beautiful. I really love that shade. But the other one is going to be Après, I think is how you pronounce that. I'm sure I don't have the accent correct, but that is the shade right here. Still absolutely beautiful. Ooh, oh my gosh, which one do I want to go in with? This is a really tough decision. They're actually very, very similar when you swatch them out. The one on the top, which is Chamonix, has a little bit more of a translucent base to it, but for the most part, they come off very similar. This one might be a tiny bit deeper, but I think we're gonna go with the first shade, which is Chamonix. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO1 brush, spray it yet again, and we're gonna pop this on my inner corner and kind of blend it up onto my lid as well, bringing it towards that blue shade. So I'm going to start right here, and then I'm going to kind of blend it, just zhuzhing my brush back and forth, kind of overlapping just a little bit so we don't have any harsh lines. That is so incredibly beautiful. I really, really like that shade. And there we have it, our second completed look with this palette. I think this one turned out beautiful as well. It's definitely a little bit more deep. It's fun, it's colorful. I really love those green shades that I put on the inner corner, and I thought the blues performed beautifully as well. But let me show you what I used to finish off this look so we can turn the lights down, see the shimmer, the shift, the sparkle, and then I can come back and give you my first initial impression thoughts on this palette. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a ColourPop cream gel liner in the shade Prance. I lined my lid with this liquid liner from Cheeryep, and then for mascara, I went in once again with my Il Makiage Black Card Mascara. All right, y'all, let's chat about this palette. So based off of first impression, I really enjoy it. I think it's a beautiful color story. I had a lot of fun playing with it. I love the two looks that I created, and I love that I was able to get two very different looks with this palette. That really speaks volume to the versatility, and versatility is something I always look for in a color story from an eyeshadow palette. But I also think they did a really good job with the packaging, the color story, and the theming in this palette. Now that is going to be based off of what I have seen in pictures, because I've never been to France before, although I've always wanted to go. I've never been, so I can't speak from personal experience, but based off of what I have seen, I do think they did a beautiful job. I think the cover art is beautiful, and the color story in here 100% matches the cover art beautifully. This is a beautiful winter leaning pastel color story, but we do have lots of depth in here. We've got some variety in here. I love that we've got some cool tones and warm tones in here, and as far as the performance of this palette goes, I didn't have any issues. The mattes blended out beautifully. They were nice and pigmented. pigmented. The pastels in here, I was really impressed with how pigmented they were, and then the fact that they weren't chalky. I did mention that earlier on, but they blended out beautifully. I was able to go from light to dark and dark to light without any issues at all. I will say that the mattes in here did seem a little bit softer in texture, not crumbly or hard to work with or anything like that. I just got a lot of kick up in the pan, and it really came down to these 6 matte shades down in here, but it wasn't an issue. Like I said, I didn't get any fallout. And the shimmers in here I thought were beautiful as well. The ones that I did get to use were very smooth, very reflective. We do have some kind of duochromes in here and some really pretty shifts. We don't have any multi-chromes or anything like that. And as far as longevity goes, I'll have to let you know. I've never experienced creasing or fading from Nomad, but I haven't had this palette on long enough to let you know. So I will keep you posted in a future palette ranking video. So make sure that you're subscribed so you can stay tuned to that. My only nitpicky little things with this palette, and this is really nitpicky, is I feel like this row right here could have had a little bit more depth. I feel like this shade up here could have been just a smidge darker, more along the lines of these 2 shades over here, and then this one could have been taken just a little bit darker as well. I feel like this row is leaning very light to mid-tone, whereas these 2 rows have light, mid-tone, and deep, and I would have liked that more variety over here. And my other little thing is these 2 shades right here swatched out very similar next to each other. This one has just a tiny bit more of a deeper base, but not enough to really warrant both of the shades in the palette in my personal opinion, but they are still absolutely beautiful. And I really like that we got the deeper shimmers down here and some beautiful kind of toppery shades up there. Beautiful color story, beautiful palette. Overall, I am very happy with my purchase, but for me, this is probably going to be more of a companion color story or something that I really bring out in these more cold months and cold days when I'm really feeling something a little softer, a little bit more blown out and kind of pastel leaning. But beautiful palette, beautiful color story, beautiful formula, not disappointed at all. But that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Let me know if you picked up this palette, if you plan on picking up this palette, which look was your favorite. I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation. Light up that comment section. And as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.